This painting was never meant to be seen. Not by critics, not by the public, even not by you. And the man who painted this was once the most successful artist in Spain. Most people think this painting proves Goya was obsessed with darkness. I think it proves he was the most honest artist of his time. Let me show you why. Because if you only meet Francisco Goya here, inside this black, airless space, staring at a god gone feral, you miss the real shock. The shock isn't that Goya could imagine a monster. The shock is that he didn't start as one. Picture the opposite of this darkness. In an early work called The Parasol, everything is ease and sunlight. Fresh fabric, a bright green umbrella, a calm sky. Two young people posed like the future is going to be gentle. It's not just pretty, it's the world view. Life can be arranged, protected, improved. Warm light, gold embroidery, metals, jewels, faces arranged with careful order, the way power likes to see itself. Stable, centered, unquestionable. Goya painted kings and queens and aristocrats as if the world made sense, as if hierarchy was a kind of harmony. In his group portrait of Charles IV and his family, everyone is there, lined up in splendor, bathed in a gentle, flattering radiance. It's the kind of painting that doesn't just depict authority, it reassures it. Even the brushwork feels controlled, confident, like a hand that believes the surface of things is worth perfecting. So why did this man later paint monsters? Hold that question. Don't answer it yet. Because the easy answer is, he got older, or he got cynical, or he got weird. But Goya's turn wasn't a gradual drift into moodiness, it was a rupture. Something happened that made the bright world feel like a hollow prop. Early Goya lives inside power, and you can feel the false stability of it. He isn't painting from the outside looking in, he's protected. He's rewarded. He's the official eye of the court. And around him, the late 18th century hums with Enlightenment confidence. The idea that reason can tame superstition, that knowledge makes us better, that civilization is climbing upward, away from brutality, and towards something like progress. In that worldview, art has a job. It polishes the image of order. It says, look, this is what a functioning world looks like. And then the world goes quiet. Not metaphorically, literally. In 1792, Goya becomes gravely ill. He survives, but he loses his hearing. For him, it's a new life. Because he didn't just lose his hearing, he lost an artistic connection. Silence simply pushed the world farther away. But Goya keeps painting. He still has commissions, he still has status, but now he's watching, not belonging. He's inside the palace, but the palace is behind glass. And in that distance, the polished surface starts to look suspicious. Because when you can't hear the room, you study the room. You notice faces, you notice glances, you notice vanity, greed, superstition, the things an enlightened society swears it has outgrown. A few years after his deafness, Goya publishes Los Caprichos, a set of prints that feel like someone turning the lights on in a dirty room. One of them becomes his thesis statement, a man slumped over a desk while owls and bats and shadow creatures swarm behind him. The caption reads, "The sleep of reason produces monsters." It's not subtle. It warns us. Sanity is just a mask, and it slips easily. When it falls, the monster underneath wakes up. And then Goya saw something that permanently shattered his faith in humanity. Not a single scene, not a single villain, a whole slaughterhouse. In 1808, Napoleon's forces invade Spain. The Peninsular War begins, and with it, the kind of violence that doesn't fit inside heroic paintings. Traditional war art loves distance. It loves banners and smoke and a noble posture right before the charge. It turns slaughter into choreography. It tells you that death was meaningful because it served a cause. Goya doesn't do that. He paints war as a human meat grinder. He draws and etches atrocities with the bluntness of a witness. Bodies hanging from trees, civilians butchered, famine hollowing faces into skulls. In the captions of his Disasters of War prints, he doesn't give you epic titles. He gives you something closer to testimony. Sometimes the caption is basically a sworn statement. Under one image he writes, "I saw it." Under another, "There is no one to help them." That's not storytelling, that's evidence. Then he paints the 3rd of May, 1808, and it feels like the moment European art stops pretending. The composition is brutally simple. On one side, a firing squad, a block of uniforms, faces turned away, rifles aligned. On the other side, victims, not soldiers in glory, but civilians in terror. And in the middle, illuminated by a harsh lantern, a man in a white shirt throws his arms wide. Half surrender, half protest, half crucifixion pose. As if the painting itself is asking, what kind of civilization shoots people like this at point-blank range? Goya didn't paint war as glory. He painted it as a beast that eats people. And that's the moral rupture. Because once you've seen that monster up close, it's hard to keep believing the Enlightenment story. That reason naturally leads us upward, that institutions exist to protect the human. In Goya's Spain, authority isn't benevolent, it's cruel. It changes costumes, not character. One regime replaces another, and the bodies keep piling. This is the moment Goya stops believing in progress. You can feel it in what happens to his light. Early Goya's world is warm. Later Goya's world is stark, bright where it hurts, black where it swallows. You can feel it in how he treats power. Early power is dressed. Later power is naked. But what he paints next, he doesn't show anyone. That's not a metaphor. He literally stops painting for the public and starts painting for a house. In 1819, older now, still deaf, politically cornered, physically fragile, Goya retreats to a country home outside Madrid. The house's nickname is almost too perfect, the Villa of the Deaf Man. And there, he does something that feels like an artist stepping off the stage forever. He paints directly on the walls. No patron, no audience, no explanation. These weren't canvases meant for collectors. They were oil paintings on plaster, meant to live and die inside that house with him. The fact that we can see them now is only because later they were cut from the walls and transferred to canvas. 14 murals, what we now call the black paintings, made in private, as if the act of painting has become something closer to confession than performance. When an artist stops performing, what remains is truth. And the truth on Goya's walls is suffocating. The gods aren't guiding anyone. If they appear at all, they're deranged. Humans aren't noble. They're grotesque. Mouths open in strange songs, eyes empty, bodies collapsing into each other like a crowd that forgot what it means to be a person. Power isn't protective, it's predatory. Fear isn't an interruption to life. Fear is the atmosphere. Look at his later version of the San Isidro Festival. Decades earlier, he painted the same celebration as a bright picnic. People scattered across a hillside under open sky. In the black painting version, it's night. The crowd becomes a procession of distorted faces, half drunk, half haunted, chanting into darkness. It's the same human event, repainted as if the world has been reclassified. What once looked like community now looks like a trance. And then, he paints a god eating his own child. Saturn, Cronus, time. In the myth, Saturn devours his children because he fears being overthrown. He wants to stop the future from arriving. Mythology usually gives this story distance. It's ancient. It's symbolic. It belongs to an imaginary world where gods behave like nightmares so we don't have to admit humans do. Goya removes the distance. Gone is the majestic Titan. In his place is a frantic, starving creature in a void. The background is nothing, no landscape, no context, just blackness, like the universe has left the room. Saturn's eyes bulge with panic. His hands clamp down with a grip that isn't ceremonial, it's animal. And the body he's devouring is horrifyingly human, flesh torn, blood bright against the gloom. Far from a polite allegory painted for a salon, this is a private vision pinned to a wall. Which brings us to the meaning, but not the neat museum label meaning, the kind that domesticates the horror and says, "Ah yes, time devours all." Goya's Saturn is not just time. Saturn is authority. Saturn is power. Saturn is the old order that survives by consuming what comes next. More than mythology, this is an accusation. Because once you've seen war, real war, not the heroic version, you start to recognize Saturn everywhere. Nations consuming their citizens, governments devouring youth to maintain control, revolutions eating their own ideals, old men in palaces feeding on the future while calling it necessity, order, patriotism, tradition. The logic is always the same. The future is dangerous, so we will destroy it before it destroys us. And the most disturbing part is that Saturn doesn't look triumphant. He looks terrified. Power isn't calm in this painting. Power is desperate. Power is a creature that knows it shouldn't exist, so it bites harder. That's why Goya's darkness isn't just personal depression put on plaster. It's a philosophy he arrived at through injury and history. The Enlightenment says humans can perfect themselves through reason. Goya's late work whispers something closer to Hobbes. Strip away the social polish and you find teeth. Or something even bleaker. Reason isn't our default state. It's a thin lamp we carry, and the wind is always trying to blow it out. So maybe the real twist isn't that Goya became dark. It's that the bright paintings were a kind of agreement, an arrangement between artist and society. I will paint your order, and in return, society will pretend that order is real. Goya didn't become dark. The world revealed itself. And now we're back where we started, standing in front of an image that shouldn't exist, because it refuses every comforting story. It refuses heroism. It refuses progress as an automatic truth. It refuses the idea that power grows wiser with age. It shows you a universe where the future is something the past tries to swallow. So here's the question I want to leave you with, not an answer. Were Goya's early paintings the lie, or the later ones? If progress is real, why does Saturn keep eating his children? Which version of Goya feels more honest to you?